Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Winds of Change. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it on Steam. Anyways, on the last Let's Play, we set sail to Balteus, where I made a speech, and Shane is going to counter us with a small fleet, but hopefully our fleet is much better, even though we picked the smaller one. And the smaller other guys. Anyways, I toss and turn, gaining a minimal amount of sleep. The blade rests against my bed, ready to grab at a moment's notice. I fade in and out of sleep, fighting a mixture of both anxiety and tranquility. Just when I'm about to fall asleep, negative thought jolts me back awake. We had no idea what would happen when we arrived at Balteus. It was terrifying. I realize that sleeping probably isn't going to happen right now, so I decide to get off the hard bed. This I do. I know somebody approaching out of the corner of my eye. Grabbing my blade, I prepare myself for anything out of twisted paranoia.
Hey now, put that thing away. I didn't mean to startle you, Monarch.
I was hoping it was Ulrich. Okay. It's just Vivian. That's a relief.
It appears there's been some complications.
Fantastic.
Domek wanted me to tell you that you're needed on deck. You'll see what I mean when you get up there, alright?
I nod. It must be important if he's interrupting my rest. As I start to walk away, Vivian puts a hand on my shoulder.
And I just wanted to tell you that I know what happened in Alarinthia. I know that Pro and Ulrich teamed up in order to throw our fight.
I go up, unsure how Vivian would react to such news. But much to my surprise, he lets out a hearty laugh.
You know, I always said that Alarinthia needed to be ruled with smarts. Draco would just sit in his throne, thinking that strength solved everything, using a scheme like they did to outsmart him. It's almost poetic, isn't it? Besides, it also sent a message to every Alarinthian. Their old way of doing things was wrong. Individual strength doesn't matter. It's how strong we are when we team up, under shared ideals, that truly matters.
Wait, so in the past, day or so, every Alarinthian found out about that? Really?
And for sending them that message, I commend you. Good luck out there on the deck. I think you'll need it.
That's reassuring. He released his grip on my shoulder. For a moment, I was scared things would go south. But they will, I guess. I'm glad that he's accepting of what transpired. Dropping the issue from my mind, I head out to the deck. I had no idea why Damek needed me, but the thought was frightening. I slowly ascend the steps. My mind is plagued with unfortunate possibilities. As soon as I arrive on the deck, I see exactly why I was needed. Off in the distance, we're met by a fleet of ships belonging to the Triumvirate. They're far, but not far enough away that Sheen on the honor guard is concealed. Damek and Hal immediately run over. I can see the panic on their faces. It was clear that battle would be imminent. I meet them halfway to see what their plan is.
We have no plan. Perhaps this is time for Damek to shine. A master strategist. Is that not what your people say?
Hal, this is no time to be petty. We need to put our heads together and figure this out. Let's see. It's a small fleet, maybe only half the size of ours.
Naval warfare was not something the monarchy practiced. We lived in peace, Damek. Our world was not discordant like this one.
We exchange glances. Damek seems uncertain and a little worried. He strikes a pose of thought, and it's a while before he breaks the silence.
Okay, I'll do it. We know this battle is lost if the Monarch doesn't make it ashore. So our goal should be securing the safety of this boat and the lives of those on board. This is when we need to rely on everyone's strengths. We need the pirates to take action.
He waves over Alex.
Alex, we need you to order your forces to charge. This is precisely why I wanted to form a treaty, for battle at sea. I need you to occupy the forces. Distract them while we slip by.
Slip by? They'll notice you right away. Baltian ships are equipped with projectile weaponry. 1 or 2 good shots and you'll be underwater in minutes.
Bugger.
That's what I'm counting on.
Huh?
We're going to let them sink this ship.
Are you crazy?
I have a plan, Alex. Everybody, listen up. We'll time it so we're close by when they hit us. As we sink, we can hop over to their ship and hijack it. Using their own projectile weapons, we'll start sinking them one by one. Their attention will be divided. They'll be getting attacked from multiple sides. We can use that to our advantage. They won't be able to retaliate through the chaos.
Never thought about that before.
Right, of course. Should I send the order right now?
Yeah, we need to do this immediately. There's no room for error. This is the end.
Yes, sir.
Alex runs off and climbs the netting of the ship. I look over at the other ships, and the pirates start doing the same. It's almost like they have the entire language to communicate over long distances. This was an impressive sight to see. However, seeing Damick think on his feet was equally impressive. With a sigh and smile, the confidence overtakes the panic from moments before.
Damick, we must say, that was pretty impressive. Hopefully now you realize that visions only hold you back.
Huh?
Look at what happened back in the Rebel HQ. You relied on a vision. You tried to fulfill some prophecy. In a way, that is limiting. You plan your strategy around certainties. But there are no certainties in war. Assume that the enemy is a counter for your every action. In this case, we should also plan for a scenario where the enemy prevails.
Damick shakes his head.
They won't. Simply because we can't afford it. Any losses at this point would mean the end of our cause. Trust in the pirates, Howl. Trust in all of us. We can do this.
Howl simply nods. Moments later, the pirates launch their assault. We all lose our balance as the ship takes a sharp turn, moving in a new direction. This was a risky plan, but like Damick requested, I choose to place my trust in him. If trust would carry us to victory, then it would be our strength and resolve. I hold on to the side of the ship. As our speed increases, everyone braces themselves. They're not sure what's going on, so Damick draws his sword and raises it into the air.
Everybody listen up! The final hour is upon us. Our pirate army will be charging against the enemy fleet. While they're distracted, we'll slip in and hijack one of their ships. That means we'll be sacrificing this vessel, so don't be alarmed if they deal us a fatal blow. As we're sinking, we'll jump over and board the enemy. Their ships are equipped with projectile weaponry. Using their own ship, we will turn their weapons against them. They won't know where to focus, and we'll use the chaos to our advantage.
He starts to talk a bit louder as our ship picks up speed. We move away from the main fleet, preparing to approach them from the flank. I notice the soldiers nod, accepting Damick's orders, and plan without hesitation.
If things go south, I need all of you to protect the Monarch. Without her, we will lose not only this battle, but the war as well. Her life and the blade that she carries should be our top priority. Do I make myself clear?
Everyone cheers in approval and raises their sword like Damick. Then we all stand and watch at the bulk of our fleet as the battle begins. We slowly move away from the action, and I can tell that some are relieved. As soon as the pirates get close enough, the honor guard retaliates. They launch heavy projectiles from catapults and shoot harpoons from wooden structures. The pirates, with their sailing expertise, are mostly able to counter by altering their trajectory. However, not all of them do so. I witness several ships get torn apart and start to sink. My heart sinks with them, knowing that they were willing to sacrifice themselves for me. It seems that the battle is on full force. They get closer and start to board each other. I can hear swords clashing as the honor guard tries to defend against the pirates' charge. Ships on both sides start to sink. Soon enough, it's almost impossible to see what's happening. From the distance, it's too chaotic, but if the enemy ships are sinking, we must have seized some weapons. That means the tables started to turn, but it's up to us to play our parts as well. We turn back to where we're headed. We're dangerously close to some enemy ships. Dammit calls out to everybody, shifting their attention away from the distant battle.
This is it. There's no turning back. Everybody, brace yourselves to charge!
I can see the honor guard prepare their weapons. When I scan my surroundings, I can see our forces prepared as well. A line of archers form ready to attack the enemies at a moment's notice.
Hold!
He places his fist in the air, and intense silence follows. Both sides are armed. The question is, who attacks first? Take a deep breath and pull out the Blade of Exodus.
Hold!
I look over at the ships we've left behind. Their numbers are easily halved. But this goes for the enemy as well. This is clearly the turning point. What happened next would decide the fate of our entire cause. And it began with a barrage of projectile weaponry. The enemy attacked our ship with everything they had. I can feel the hull getting torn apart and everything starts shaking.
Fire!
The archers return fire, knocking out the suits of armor, manning the weapons. I look back at the wheel of the ship, and Alex spins it, turning us toward the enemy vessels.
I hope you're ready to jump!
Dammit nods, and then moments later, everything erupts in chaos. Our forces jump to the enemy ship after a long running start. They land safely and start decimating the honor guard.
See you on the other side, Monarch!
With a smirk, he follows our soldiers, jumping across to the enemy ship. Landing with a roll, he immediately starts fighting, displaying impressive skill. I didn't get to see him fight in our HQ or in Alarinthia. It's quite the sight. He dodges the enemy attacks with ease and retaliates with expertise. Taking out multiple suits of armor with a single swing, he clearly holds his own. I turn around and order the remaining soldiers to charge. I save myself for last. But before I jump, I notice Alex is still at the wheel. I shout his name and tell him to get across as soon as possible. Ship has already started to sink, and the water rises at my feet.
You know, any good captain is supposed to go down with their ship. But I guess there's no point living my life by an outdated code of honor. Thanks to the treaty, there'll be a new life waiting for me after all of this.
Yeah. He leaves the wheel behind and places a hand on my shoulder.
And honestly, it's all thanks to you. Let's make this jump together, Monarch. We're a team until the end, no matter what!
No matter what. We move to the opposite side of the ship, putting the distance between us and the enemy vessel. I notice that most of the honor guard has fallen, and our soldiers are manning the weaponry. It's a good sign. With a feeling that victory is ours, Alex and I start to sprint towards the enemy. He makes it there first, jumping up in the railing of our ship and launching himself across the gap. I'm not too far behind, and I jump up on the railing moments later. However, I make it no further. An arrow pierces through my shoulder, and I start to fall back on our ship, in a pool of freezing water. I pull out the arrow with a grunt. Blood oozes from the wound, but it's nothing major. We could patch up as soon as the enemy ships are taken care of, and I rise to my feet. Looking up, I immediately noticed the source of the arrow. It wasn't the honor guard. It was Shane. With an evil smirk, he jumps across, boarding our ship. It's still sinking, but I have time. If I take care of him fast enough, then I'd be able to carry out my plan as originally intended. Carry out my plan? Instead of coming for me, he runs toward the wheel, steering the ship away from the chaos. This wasn't good. My time was limited if we were both sinking and making the distance greater. He mustn't exactly know what he's doing. Part of me wonders if we played into some sort of trap. I look at my allies, and they seem to be doing a good enough job as they enact our plan. My fist shakes as I grip the Blade of Exodus. Shane scoffs as he watches. I shout at him in anger and despair. I call him a traitor and condemn him. He almost killed Damek. He caused irreparable damage to my family.
A traitor? Not from where I'm standing. Damek abandoned me, and it's all because of you. He's a selfish fool. All he cares about is that stupid sword!
Don't you remember the plan in your diary, man? I keep walking towards him, and the ship shakes violently. Water keeps seeping on the deck, and I'm standing almost ankle deep.
I had a plan! We had a plan! And he threw it all away! The moment you walked through that door, he let you replace me! He left me to rot in the Triumvirate's prison because you were more convenient!
It's not true. I try to reason with Shane, but to no avail.
You saw how many people died in your HQ during that little attack. If you couldn't wield that sword, you'd be buried down there with the rest of them. Domek didn't care about you or your friends. He only cared about your power.
Again, that's not true. He's clearly been converted by the Triumvirate.
I was thinking long and hard about what I should do. You know, what was my place in all this?
Much to my surprise, he throws both of his daggers on the ground.
And I realized that if I served the Triumvirate, I'd receive the same power. It seemed fitting. End Domek's rebellion with the same thing he was relying on.
He smirks, and I can tell that the man Damek cared about was already dead.
I wish he could be here to see this. But you'll tell him the story, won't you?
A moment later, he charges at me, unarmed. But in almost a blink of an eye, the blade appears in his hands. How was he able to do that? Armed of mine, I have no choice but to jump out of the way. I run to the opposite side of the ship, where he threw his pair of daggers. Picking them up, I assume a fighting stance, and wait for him to charge again.
Not strong enough to take it back by willpower alone? Thought so. You're weak. See, I was blessed by the Triumvirate. All you got was worthless energy from the realm of spirits. Out of pity, too.
He doesn't seem to know about the monarchy, or the true nature of the power within me. Big surprise, the Triumvirate lost Sovi when he found out. I should use this to my advantage. As he charges, I maintain the facade that I'm weak and unable to summon back the blade. I dodge to the side once more, but slice into Shane's arm with one of his own daggers. He winces and grunts. His arm starts to bleed, but it doesn't seem to affect his performance. Also, how are we supposed to, do all this acrobatic stuff if we're ankle deep? He charges again, and I dodge to the other side with a roll. I slice into his leg, and he stumbles. I have speed and agility, while he relies on slow brute strength. It's easy to tell that he's never fought with such a weapon before. But I've seen he can really only use arrows and daggers.
Is that all you got?
I won't be able to keep up the same strategy forever. I need to change it up while I think how to end this. He charges once more, but this time I meet him head on. Holding out the daggers in a cross formation to keep the blade from going any further. We struggle, both at almost equal strength, trembling as we try to overpower each other. I tell Shane that Damek is still alive, and spirits willed it because his cause was righteous.
Impossible!
He'd never comply if I told him to look for himself, so there's no way I can prove it. However, he seems to let up a little bit, and I am able to overpower him some more. I push him away, and tell him that it's true. He's on the wrong side of the war.
No, you're the one on the wrong side! The rebellion is small and insignificant. Hundreds standing in a world of millions. Even if you win, they won't respect your power. They're happy living under the Triumvirate's rule. Revenge won't solve anything. Just back down.
Circle around each other, both holding out our weapons.
I was hurt by the occupation and I wanted to fight, but I realized I was being greedy, and there was no point. It's not my happiness, my satisfaction that matters. It's the world's.
It seems we reached a stalemate, both trying to talk each other down. But it wouldn't yield, and something told me that he wouldn't either. His views had been twisted, and he thinks mine has as well. Maybe I should touch the sword as he does too? We charge at each other and meet in the middle once more. The water rises, and I can tell time is minimal. We're sinking fast. Turning to the same deadlock as before, I needed to do something. I need to summon the blade back when he least expects it. My time is limited, and honestly, seems like Shane is beyond saving. But the question is, what do I do when I have it back in my grasp? I mean, if we can get him to shore, we should probably just incapacitate him. He didn't deserve to die, that much was clear. Because he seems like a complete moron, not bad. There had to be a chance that he'd have a reason in the future. If it went on to win this war, maybe he'd see things differently.
You took everything from me!
As his anger and rage empowers him, I start to tremble even more. It takes a lot to resist the strength of a man wielding the Blade of Exodus. I do my best to buy time until I find the right opportunity. I contest Shane's words.
You were born with everything I worked so hard to achieve! They were my family, my friends, and you took them all away!
As he starts to get even more desperate and angry, I decide to take action. I let him overpower me, and I step to the side, dodging his next swing.
I hate you!
But immediately after, and with much surprise, I phase the blade back into my hands. While he's caught off guard, I raise the blade into the air and smash the base against his head. He screams and stumbles back, knocked into a daze. I step forward and do the same thing again. Careful not to go too far, and stop a moment where I find enough time to make my escape. He slumps down to the ground, almost knocked unconscious. I can hear him cry and whimper. There's no way to know if he'd make it out of this alive, but at least he had the chance.
Tomek.
This was enough of a distraction. I had to get moving. Looking back at Shane, it's crushing to see how far he seems to have fallen. When I saw Damek again, it might be wise not to even tell him what happened. I jump into the water and immediately start swimming towards the ship my comrades are on. Soon after jumping in, the freezing water makes my limbs feel stiff and my chest heavy. Fighting it for as long as I can, I keep swimming. I know I can do this. There's no time to give up. Too bad I can't do that one thing from a Final Fantasy 15. You know, throw the web and teleport to it. I've still got time. When my vision fades back in, I can feel that I'm being dragged. What happened? Body's covered in snow, and I'm shivering. Must have passed out back in the water. I shake my head, and whoever's carried me seems to notice. They put me down and sigh.
You're awake. Thank goodness. When I found you in the water, I was starting to worry. What happened back there anyway? You were so far behind us.
I shake my head, telling him that I can't remember much. A necessary lie. If he knew that what Shane tried to do, and how lost he was, it would damage his morale. He needed to see my survival as a triumph. We couldn't afford any damaged morale.
Oh, I see. Can you stand on your own? We're resting in a shack that's not too far away. It's nothing fancy, but it'll give us the privacy we need.
Not privacy? Nodding, I get upon my feet. I stumble a bit, but Damek can tell I'm fine.
Just follow me, alright? I'll give you an update once we arrive. A lot of stuff happened while you were out.
Hopefully good. I mean, with that demeanor that would be good, but coming from him even with that demeanor could be bad. Normally statements like that, under these circumstances, would fill me with fear. But Damek says with such a calm demeanor that I'm led to believe everybody is fine. Holding on to that optimism in my head, I smile as we make our way towards the shack he mentioned. As soon as we arrive, I make my way to the shack and lean against it. We barely even arrived at Balteus, and everything is already chaotic. I don't know what I was expecting, so it's not exactly a surprise either. All of my comrades are scared about, talking amongst themselves. I'm glad they survived and try to account for them one by one as I look around. After a few moments, something strikes me. I can't see Fortaime or Valessa. Hal approaches me and he lets out a sigh of relief. I can imagine that my momentary disappearance stressed everybody out.
Good to see you, Monarch. We were worried. It seems that almost everybody's accounted for.
Almost. Ask him where Valessa and Fortaime are. His demeanor quickly changes to that of sadness.
They are some of the few we have yet to find, but we are certain that they live. We haven't found their bodies. Many of them washed ashore, casualties of the battle at sea.
Great, many.
We are relieved to know that you are not one of those casualties. The plan is to wait in and around the shack until everybody shows up. This might be a good time for you to get some rest. Please relax.
Relax while my best friends are missing? As a tall order, I tell Hal I might not be able to.
Please do not resort to worst-case scenario thinking. This is a time to be hopeful. We stand on the precipice of victory. We will go and look for them personally. You deserve some rest.
Fair enough. I nod and thank him as I turn away. Scanning the area once more, I see who I can find. A few of my comrades I can find slowly gather around me.
Hey, good to see that you're still among the living. That was pretty intense, wasn't it? Sure scared me, at least. I'm not one for sailing or fighting, so combining both? Yikes.
Yeah, Pro was scared. Thankfully, I have strength for two. He cowered in the corner while I did all of the hard work.
Did not.
Sure.
They share a quick laugh. But soon after that, I can tell something's wrong. Is there something that I'm not being told about all this?
It's about Alex, Monarch. He's resting in the shack, in critical condition. I think we can nurse him back to health, but I'm not sure.
Hopefully he's fine. Oh no.
Look, it's probably best not to think about it too much. He's in good hands. We just need to forge on as a team. If it weren't for him, we'd all be dead at sea. This is a victory.
Guess that's true.
It was just important that we gave you a status report. I think once everybody gets here, we'll hold another meeting. Our strategy may need some adapting after these losses.
Yeah, go take a breather. You deserve it. Right now, our options are pretty limited.
It's not ideal, but he's right. All we can do right now is wait. Thanks for the chat, Monarch.
I guess there wasn't much left for me to do. Making my way to the shack, hopefully to relax. But I was chasing the possibility I'd find no rest here. Not until everything was over. And that would mean we'd either win or die. As I enter the shack, I pray that it's the former. As soon as I am inside, I let out a huge sigh. The emotions behind it are almost undiscernible. There's so much going on, my mind was overwhelmed. I guess I should take care of the important stuff first. The pirate forces suffered heavy casualties, and Alex was almost lost. I can see him resting on a small table that sits in the corner of the shack. He notices me and waves me over. With a soft motion, I can tell he's in pain.
Hey, how are you holding up?
I tell him that I'm doing alright.
At least that makes one of us. I almost died. One of my men shielded me. That's the way to power, I guess. Watching them die.
He winces in pain, and I see a wound in his abdomen.
Never gets any easier, though. Hey, can you promise me one thing?
I nod, and he waves me even closer as his voice weakens. He holds out his hand, and I shake it with a firm grip.
Give them hell for me, Monarch. If I die, I want to die knowing that we've won. Show them no quarter. They don't deserve it.
I nod and release the grip on his hand. He dozes off into slumber, and I decide to leave him be. Rest would be important right now. He couldn't force anything. After standing up, I look down at him. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't even be here right now. I smile and silently thank him for all he's done. The door of the shack swings open, startling me. Turn around to see Grizz looking around, oblivious to my presence. After a few moments, he notices me and lets out a nervous laugh.
I never thought I'd see this place again. This is where I used to live, before I joined the Triumvirate. A simple shepherd, that's all I was. They said they saw greatness in me. But now I know that all they saw was a naive man ready to serve. They prey on the weak, on those whose minds can be warped. I'm a different man now, but perhaps my change came too late.
He steps forward and places his hands on the table.
I don't know if this is important or not, but Balteus has changed. It used to be a beautiful place, but now it's almost like it's dying. I can't put my finger on it, but something bad is happening here. So be careful, all right? We can't lose you, Monarch. But if it's within your power, I'd like to see Balteus restored. Placing your throne here and settling down would be a good idea.
I agree, even though I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about. Balteus has changed? It's dying? I'm not sure how that works. But he's not one to lie, so I just let him continue talking.
They made me kill my flock of sheep before joining them. They said it symbolized the death of my old life and the start of my new one. I felt awful, but I still chose to comply. I wasn't the smartest when I was younger. That's why I wear the skin of my favorite sheep. I called him Lassiter. I wore him as a tribute, but he slowly turned into a symbol of my resentment. Seeing him every day, that constant reminder, was part of why I defected. I couldn't live with what I did, so I sought redemption. Of course, you know the rest, so I won't bore you. Thank you for listening to an old man's ramblings.
I give him my sympathy. That's an awful thing to experience. They use their sass as gods to manipulate a young and impressionable people. Manipulate. I can imagine that abandoning your moral code is easier if it's to impress gods like them. I'm glad that he survived those tunnels and chose to assist us in the final battle. I make sure to tell him that, and he gives me a wide smile in exchange.
That means a lot. It really does. I want to see the Triumvirate fall, even if it means losing my life. Giving everybody out there a happy future? Now that would let me rest easy. Of course, my survival would be preferable. I promise not to do anything too reckless. You have my word. That's all I can really give you for now. I hope that it's enough.
He starts walking around the shack, inspecting things. Must be a lot of memories here, if this used to be where he used to live. It's probably best to leave him to himself, given the current circumstances. There isn't much left to do, but rest, I suppose. Move to the corner and press my back against the wall once more. Hopefully, they're able to find Valessa and Fortaime. I can't lose them now. I rest in here for a while and gather my bearings. This is not the time for freaking out. Top right corner. That's kind of interesting. Like, hey, you can chill here for a bit, which is kind of weird. Because it looks like there's nothing to look at in this shack, and nobody to talk to. But personally, that's a good time to call it. I feel like I need a nap. And also, like, physically, I'm kind of running low on ability. So anyways, that's going to be the end of this Let's Play. So comment, cause I like comments, tell me what you like, dislike, tips, tricks, otherwise. If you like my YouTube and would like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the videos that have grown. Please remember spaying your animals to have control the pet population. And until next time, Let's Play, me, GamerWolfSix of Winds of Change. See ya.